What's up, YouTube, man? It's your boy DJ. Welcome back to another video. And today we're gonna react to a man kills and assaults his wife in acid, then acts like a concerned husband. Some weird shit. So shit, we finna see what it's talking about. Hopefully it's good and interesting, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all wanna see next. Hey, we will get straight to the video, bro.
On Wednesday, April 27th, 2016, John Todd called the Martin County Sheriff's Office to report that his sister
Damn, was that fast?
was missing. She hadn't picked up her daughter, Faith, from the babysitter that day,
which
was highly unusual for her. When deputies arrived at the residence where she was living, the scene
Try to keep the intro short and simple for y'all,
nothing
man.
was ransacked and nothing seemed suspicious. However, her vehicle was parked across from her residence, not in its usual spot. Inside the vehicle, the police found her
Got me some
and
gushes.
left on the passenger seat.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I might have gushes in my every video until they sponsor me, bro.
The deputies initiated a bolo, be on the lookout for a missing person. Trisha occasionally left her house in the middle of the night to walk on the beach. To get to that area from her home, she had to pass through some of the rougher parts of town. The detectives suspected that she might have gone off for a late-night swim and possibly drowned, but they weren't sure. All they had at that moment was speculation. That night, the deputies contacted Trisha's brother and asked him who she was with last. Mr. Todd indicated that her ex-husband, Mr. Williams, was in town and was likely the last person with her. When the police reached out to Stephen over the phone, he explained that he had come to town for the week to visit his daughter, which was a common occurrence. Stephen Williams, who had previously served in the Air Force and had no criminal history, cooperated fully with the investigators and came across as a gentle, laid-back individual. Trisha had custody of her daughter, Faith, and Stephen was able to see Faith whenever he wanted. He visited Trisha and Faith that week in April. He drove down from the base in North Carolina and got an Airbnb in Florida. That day, the 26th of April, Trisha left Faith with him for the evening. The next day, Trisha was due to collect Faith from the babysitter and go to work, but she didn't show up. As Stephen was reportedly the last person to see Trisha alive, he was invited to the interrogation room at Martin County Sheriff's Office for a formal interview.
Man, I thought it was like different colors than gushes, bro.
His daughter up from the babysitter. There was a point that night
every time I get them,
where
I always be just straight red.
started to get fussy, so he sent Trisha a text message.
So I texted her like, hey, maybe you can stuff about me. I know it's late, but if you're up kind of thing, like, do you mind going to comic or whatever? And then like she was texting back like, on my way. Awesome. So a few days go by, she comes over, she sits with Faith. Faith is happy now. 12:30, 1 o'clock by now. Yeah. She leaves. Faith is asleep, and then she doesn't leave actually. Her car's out of gas. That really frustrates me. That's her thing. Her car never. She mentioned there's a gas station up the street, and I was like, you know what, gas station, gas can, you got any money, I'll just drive my car over, we get you a gas can, it's gas, no big deal. So she gives me a 20, I leave the gas station, maybe a half mile out. Get the gas can, pay for it, get 2 gallons of gas, leave, put the gas in her car, and then I told her good night, basically. I'll contact me tomorrow, you can call me or whatever. That's it. Next day, Faith wakes up. I take her to Walmart. And I messaged her that day after getting no reply. Straight to voicemail. I don't want to stay here all day. Like, I don't like driving at night. So I was like, you know what? I'll just take her to Denise. That's where I picked her up from anyway, and that's who normally watches her.
Stephen's assertion is that he left his child with the babysitter and headed back home. Detectives found this scenario puzzling, as it raised concerns regarding why a father would leave town without knowing the mother's whereabouts.
What do you think happened to her? I don't know. It would be like 1 in the morning, 3 in the morning, and she'd be like, oh, I wanted to go for a walk. She would say, like, I want to talk with God. Well, it's like at 2 in the morning, you're just going to be walking the neighborhood by yourself. Like, you don't even have, like, some pepper spray. You don't have your phone. Like, especially that kind of person's oblivious to that stuff. She's always had that, like, God will protect me thing going on. Like, nothing will happen to me. I'm a child of God. I'm thinking, like, that's good to have that kind of faith, but it gets to a point where, like, let's be reasonable here. Like, good people still die every day. There are
I don't know, bro. This shit ain't adding up.
Tonight, the effort to find a missing Hope Sound mother continues. Trisha Todd was reported missing on Wednesday.
We don't want to miss something.
Sheriff William Snyder says there's no timetable to
It ain't adding up, bro.
not ruling
I think he did
this time.
So we don't have any evidence of a crime, but we have very suspicious circumstances under which she's missing.
Over 60 volunteers joined a team of deputies to thoroughly search the rugged Florida scrub brush near Trisha's home. The police were tirelessly searching every possible location, hoping to find any clues about Trisha's whereabouts. While talking to Trisha's family, detectives learned some very disturbing facts about Stephen's past and his behavior. Investigators not only found evidence that Stephen had killed Trisha's puppies, but also uncovered a troubling history. Although never officially charged or convicted, Stephen had been arrested for domestic violence against Trisha. Her mother recalled a shocking incident where Stephen had punched her in the stomach while she was pregnant, horrifyingly hoping for a miscarriage. While thoroughly going through the timeline of events, detectives found a hole in Stephen's story. One of the neighbors reported that they saw Stephen leaving in Trisha's car, a detail Stephen failed to mention in his interview. The investigators were certain of one thing. Trisha's car, initially found at her home in the morning, was clearly out of place. The task at hand was to uncover evidence, leading the investigators to collect footage from surveillance cameras at nearby businesses. Upon closer examination, the footage revealed something startling. Trisha's car had left her residence, raising red flags. What made this particularly perplexing was Stephen's earlier statement, claiming she hadn't left until around 2 a.m. Yet the video footage showed her car cruising down US 1 at 1 a.m. All eyes turned to Stephen as a potential driver. If he had indeed taken her car, he would have had to trek back home on foot. After reviewing footage from 3 different cameras, they identified a figure that matched Stephen's description. In the dimly lit background, they could just barely make out a person with a distinctive gait. This individual seemed to be walking from the vicinity of Trisha's residence to the north of US 1 in the early morning hours. This revelation marked a significant breakthrough in the investigation. The detectives decided to confront Stephen with this newly found evidence. He was called into the police station for yet another interview.
The neighbor saw you leaving her car. He saw you going back and forth. You recognize this area here? The entrance to the community center? Yeah, one way in, one way out.
My thing is, bro, how can you do some shit like this?
The video CCTV footage with Stephen because its poor quality made it inconclusive, giving him the opportunity to deny it was him and claim it could have been someone else. The strategy they had was not to show him the video, but was to show him the locations of where the video cameras were facing.
And you was in what, the Marines, Army, whatever they said you was in?
That's the time you said she came home. 120. There goes her car coming out. A couple minutes later, that same car, her car, was next to the U-turn, right here. Okay? That's bad. We see the car coming back in here. So literally went towards her house, came back. Why is that? Home didn't go home. You know the cameras get footage of the sidewalk all the way up US 1. And people on foot also. Around 4 in the morning. 4 in the morning. Hard to be asleep by then. I did tell you that that camera, that computer plate, is HD. It's you walking.
The detective was aware of Stephen's narcissistic tendencies, so she leveraged this knowledge and strove to establish a connection with him by portraying Trisha in a negative manner.
You got a lot going. You're good looking, you're young, you got straight, and you got this crazy, fast, crazy she's come after you before. Did she come after you that night? What happened? And you were just, oh, what do I do now? No, she never came after me. It's an overwhelming amount of evidence. pointing at you. So help me continue painting this picture of you. I just need to know where she's at.
It's over, bro.
Even if you know where she's at. I told. I really told. I need you to work with me. I need to tell them that you're 100% honest with me. First time I left. Okay. She said, "I'm going to go back in your laptop so she can keep it." I said, "Okay, you don't think you're here." She said, "You have to leave." And she freaked out. Okay. Okay. She want to leave. Makes sense. She was all there with her. And thinking I can make it, but it doesn't look like it. I just turn around and go back. And she's back. She was on the floor. And she was embarrassed off of me. And I kind of freaked out. And I'm like, oh my God, now she's on the floor. She's not responsive. And this looks really bad. Because I can't explain. You know, maybe I don't know why you're doing this to me when I've done nothing but try to be a good person to you. So I just put in the car. And I'm just driving, thinking. But she passed away in that car. It was nothing you did to her. She just passed away. And then you freaked out even more. What are you here to say?
It's cap. I don't believe it.
Lay her down somewhere. Out in the open? Just let her lay there. So peaceful. You're just lying there. You're breathing shallow. I can't call. Even she probably was shallow. We had already determined that she had passed while she was in the car. You can't go backwards. Tell me she was shallow. Really shallow. Really shallow.
In a sudden turn of events, Stephen admitted that Trisha had passed away in his car. Subsequently, he chose to dispose of her body on the side of the road. However, he then recalled his admission, realizing what he had implicated himself in, and retracted his statement by claiming that Trisha was, in fact, still alive, as she was exhibiting signs of breathing.
I was hoping she would just snap out of it and come back. I dropped her call.
I'm sure it's big as hell.
What did you do then? Where did you change your clothes? So it's right there. Put a whole bag away. I didn't ask for this. I just wanted to come spend some time with my daughter. You don't know what's going on. I just don't know anything.
She was in here and she was playing this way.
Was this carpet here?
And all I thought was, this is some kind of like trick. This is some kind of like ploy to get back at me or to mess things up for me.
How long was she on the floor before you decided to check her? Okay. What did you do with her?
This poor boy. I didn't know what I should do at that point.
The investigators were convinced that Stephen was performing an elaborate act, pretending to be upset and crying, though no tears were shed. Despite this, the detectives had to maintain the charade for a while, allowing him to believe he was in control. Then they advised him that the best course of action was to lead them to the place where he had left her peacefully. He agreed to do so.
How you go leave
We're going to
and then turn around, she
south on US
underground dying? What?
So have we gone too far?
Do you love your daughter? Okay. You need to give her mother back to her.
Okay, I told her she's gonna need some type of stability. You're all she's got. You are the only living parent that she has left. You need to show her she's gonna come home and say, my dad was to mom, and he left her out. Is that what
I gotta get my keybinds right, bro.
knowing and take this?
That's how I can start doing the funny shit like that.
Steven, no, I don't know.
But nah, though, bro, he bullshit. He bullshit.
After driving around aimlessly, the detectives had made no progress in finding Trisha. Stephen believed that he had evaded arrest once again and was free to go home. However, he was no longer in control, because what he had forgotten is that the whole time he was explaining this, he had told the detectives that he left his daughter, Faith, at the house by herself. As a result, he was placed under arrest for child endangerment, which gave the detectives more time to continue interrogating him.
You at no point try to do CPR, call 911. You don't do any of that. You go and put her in her car.
Yes, I could take her home, is what I thought. I could just take her home.
But you
out of
didn't.
my hair.
But you didn't. You
Because-
wanted her out of your hair, and you got it.
Because I didn't.
You got it, and I'm gonna prove it. There really is no emotion in there. There really is nothing in there for her, huh?
What are you talking about? I'm
wanted
going
her
off of what
gone.
you're saying. I wanted her to not be dead in my home. I wanted whatever this was to not be affecting me the way it was.
Tom back home. Oh, we haven't met yet. What's your name?
So when you take it back home,
Get
then.
me over is you could tell them this initial version of events and leave out this whole, as you said multiple times, stupid laptop thing.
Because it was stupid. It didn't make sense.
Something doesn't make sense, it's generally not true. That doesn't look good. If I got up and I sat over there and you sat here, what would you think of me telling you that? Right?
Yeah.
You come back and Trisha's laying on the floor with an injury. You know, 911, boom, cops are there, ambulance, she gets treatment. And you did not do that, right?
Right.
Do you have a conscience?
Yes.
Do you?
Yes.
And as she's laying in the back of the car, your conscience never kicked in and said, maybe she's still alive. Maybe I should take this opportunity to
And take her to the hospital.
Not just as you, but the mother of my child.
You're insinuating because I didn't think that I don't have a conscience?
No, I'm not insinuating. I'm saying.
You're making it seem like I had this whole grand. I didn't have any plan.
No, it's
I didn't know any.
Hey, this is the most poorly executed murder in history.
I didn't murder her.
Okay.
Two separate detectives had attempted to extract a confession from Stephen, but both approaches had proven ineffective. The aggressive and hostile interrogation tactics had only caused Stephen to become more withdrawn. It was evident that a change in strategy was necessary. That's when Detective Dan Duliak entered the room. Dan had recently joined the department, and this marked his first significant involvement in a homicide case.
What I want to do is try to set the stage so that you can actually tell the narrative about what actually happened, which is not that you planned all this. You know, it's maybe you guys got an argument. Maybe it was over the computer. Maybe it was over the gas.
Because if you're telling you that she attacked me, that's just another different story that you're just going to be like, well, that's 5 different stories you're telling now. And that doesn't help either. So what do you want me to tell you? What do you want me to tell you?
I want you to tell me the truth. The truth is never anywhere near as bad as what people will believe if you let them come up with their own story.
I never hated her. I never hated her. I didn't like
So
her.
tell me that story. I think you're a good guy. You're a family man. You're trying to do the best that you can. Okay? I know you were there. I want to give you the opportunity to tell me what happened.
People's imaginations will run wild, and they will come up with the most horrific things. I don't even know. Just happen. Talk to me about from midnight. Never text her otherwise. She already left. I would never text. And you're a good dad. That's it. That's all I was trying to do. Was just be a good dad. Just okay. You want me to fine. I'm not going to deny you that. Talks about nonsense. Child support. Just more stupid stuff. Just for the most part, trying to ignore. And then, yeah, there was a mix-up with the check, but that's not my fault because you told me this was your address, and yeah, that's where I mailed it to. And it's just that's not the mailing address. So I'm like, that's not my fault. If you told me you moved, I did the responsible thing. I made sure the check was going to go wherever you moved to, out of your mom's house. And then she's just going on and on about how I owe her more money and back child support. Just stupid. I was like, let me have your account information. So here's my account number. How direct deposit. This will never happen. No, that's not gonna work. You can't do that. You owe me all this money. I just want this. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why you're so mad. I don't know if you took a freaking crazy pill on the way over here. That would pissed her off. It just escalated. And then I just moved her away, and it's just like, and that's when she freaking fell. And I'm like, oh shit. I asked her if she was okay. It was like a weird sound. She didn't say anything, you know. And then I freaking panicked. And then I just freaking panicked. And it's so fast. And then I pushed her. And then it would push Brooks. I was trying to get her away. Just please stop yelling in my face. It's like, just, you know, like, if she was at that instance, fine. But she wasn't. And I'm like, please just stop. And so I went to move her away, and she slipped. She hit her head. And I didn't mean for that. That wasn't my freaking fault. I don't. And then all I did is, great. Now I've pushed her, and she's hurt her head. And I'm done. I'm just, everything I've tried to do, everything I've tried to be, is done because I made a mistake. I didn't even lose my cool. I just tried to move you away. I just.
The detectives had enough to charge him with murder, thanks to the evidence of their animosity, his numerous lies, and his recent confession.
First, our top story, an arrest, as you heard, in the disappearance of that Hope Sound mom, Trisha Todd's ex-husband, charged with her murder.
Right now, the sheriff's office is focusing in on an area of the Treasure Coast for her body. Kelly Dunn begins our team coverage from their command post in Martin County.
That's right, Ashley and Michael. We are right off of Bridge Road, just west of I-95, where the sheriff's office has set up its command post. Sadly, they are on a search for remains of Trisha Todd. It was learned today that indeed she will never be coming home. She was murdered and her body was dumped.
Stephen had the entire thing planned out. He had previously bought a chainsaw in North Carolina and acid, and had dug a hole in Hungryland Wildlife Reserve. Stephen said he had planned to kill Trisha in advance, but although he spent all day with her the day of the murder, he couldn't get up his nerve. Finally, Stephen told him he was determined to do it, and texted Trisha, their 2-year-old daughter who was spending the night with him in an Airbnb, was sick. When Trisha arrived, Stephen said he first tried to strangle her, but waited for her to regain consciousness so he could force her to reveal her email password and other information. Stephen said he planned to write fake emails to make Trisha's family think she had gone to Haiti on a mission trip. But when Trisha regained consciousness, Stephen said he beat her in the head with a club until she quietened. Then he choked her to death. Their daughter was sleeping in the next room. Stephen then took Trisha's body to a remote site in the Hungryland Preserve, where he had already dug a hole and readied a container with acid. It was there that he cut up her body with a chainsaw and buried her remains in an acid-filled container.
Damn.
He agreed to take them to her body in exchange for a 35-year plea deal that spared him the death penalty.
Damn. Damn, that's some. Hey, that's some crazy shit, bro. That's some crazy shit, man. I don't know what the fuck niggas got going on. But shit, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, man. This will be it for this video. That's just crazy. That'll be it, man. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.